Hello and thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Paint Basket TV. This week's episode is dedicated to blocks. We're going to learn how to use blocks to redraw our drawings. We're going to look at a website that's full of blocks. Even our question of the week is about blocks. And if that isn't enough, I'm going to show you how you can book a block. But before we go totally square, let's start at the beginning and learn all about lines. Today I want to show you a little trick that's going to dramatically increase the amount of distance you get in your paintings. Let's take a look over here. Notice how much distance we've got in our mountains over here. Now, besides for the color perspective, there's another important factor that gives us that lovely distance, and that's called lost and found lines. Lost and found lines are critical to creating depth in your paintings. Let me show you what a lost and a found line is first. Notice how sharp this line is between the back mountain and the sky color over here. That's called a found line because I definitely see it, hey? Now over here, where this little hill and that hill meet over here, notice how the line just tends to disappear. That's called a lost line. Now when you get a found line is when you've got distance between two objects. When you get a lost line is when that distance disappears. For example, over here I've got lots of distance between the sky and the mountain. Here I've got distance between this hill and that hill, and that's why I've got a distinct found line over there to show me that distance. Here at the bottom of the valley, where that hill and that hill meet, and that hill and that hill meet, notice how the line just tends to disappear on us, and that's when you get a lost line. So if you want to show distance, use a found line. If you want to show objects are touching or very, very close to each other, use a lost line. People often ask me, how do I manage to get my drawing work so accurate on my pencil drawings and my paintings? Well, you know what? There's absolutely no secret. I use a grid. Now, if you don't know how to use a grid, what I've done is I've taken one of the lessons from our Let's Draw Pencil course, and I've added it onto the website as a tutorial. So the link is below in the resources box. You can go and take a look at that. I'll show you exactly how to do it. But whether I'm redrawing a small little picture like this or I'm drawing onto a huge canvas like this, I use a grid if I need to draw really accurate work. Now, to draw on a big canvas like this, I don't draw directly onto the canvas, because then when you got all your erasing and stuff, it tends to still leave marks. So let me show you what I do. I take sheets of paper like this. Now these are old papers that I use from my printer, and I tile them onto the page like this, or onto the canvas like this, and just slightly overlapping them until I've got my entire canvas covered. So what I'm doing is I'm recreating the exact same size of my canvas with paper, like that. Then I take some masking tape and I stick them all together. Once I've stuck my pages together, I turn it around so that I don't have all that masking tape to work over. I would draw my grid onto this big piece of paper and use this to do all my sketch work on, and erasing, it doesn't matter. This thing can get as dirty as it wants to. Then when it's complete and I'm happy with my drawing, then I'd use a carbon paper to transfer the final drawing onto the canvas. So only marks I've got on my canvas are the ones that need to be there. So while we're talking about grids, I want to tell you about one of our members' websites. Lloyd, who you may better know as Draw and Paint on the forum, has got a great website where he's taken pictures and he's pre-gridded them for you. Let's go and take a look. To give you some great practice with your grid work, Lloyd has a growing number of pre-gridded photographs for you to work from. Each of the photos has a PDF document which contain redrawing instructions, as well as various combinations of the photo on the grid. The outline and the color photo are perfect for painting, and then there's also a monochrome version which is better if you're drawing in pencils. Then on the site you are also able to zoom in to each grid block to ensure you get the positioning of the objects just right. There are also some short painting tutorials that you can look at while you're on the site. At this week's live show, Trudy asked me, do you paint the sides of a block canvas? And if you do, how do you choose which color to use? Trudy, we've got quite a few options. Let me show you what I do. You get two different types of block canvases, one with a narrow side and one with a deep side. The one with a narrow side is actually meant to be framed. So if you're painting one of these types of canvases, then you can just leave the sides because it's meant to go inside a frame. But I do tend to do those. I like to paint around the sides because sometimes you can hang it up just like that. Without a frame, it'll still look good. The canvases with a deep base, these ones are not meant to be framed. So with them, what you'd want to do is either paint all the way around the sides like I've done over here, or you're going to give it a single color like I've done with this one over here. If you like to paint the outside edges of your painting one single color, then what I suggest you do is choose one color that's already in your painting and use that. The best result that I've found when you're doing that is to choose a darker color and edge it off with that. It seems to frame it quite nicely. I must admit, however, that my favorite way of painting around the box canvas is just to continue from the front and wrap it around the sides. That gives me my favorite result. Now let me go and show you how to book a block in our Ask an Artist service. If you've ever wondered what this Ask an Artist story is all about, then let me show you. Our tutors make themselves available at various times during the week for you to book a private class with them. To do that, you first need to buy time. You can buy as little or as much as you want, and you don't have to use it all in one go either. Let's buy 45 minutes for Loopy. You book by clicking the Skype icon at the top of the screen. The first time you use the service, you need to enter your Skype username and set your time zone. You can double check that your time is correct over here. Now let's go and book an appointment. You can choose which tutor's appointment times you want to view over here. By default, it will show all the appointment blocks available with all our tutors. Scrolling down, you can see the exact times available. A grey block means somebody else has already booked that block. I think let's book a half-an-hour session with Nolan. Now you're able to tell the tutor exactly what you need help with, and even tell the tutor if you're going to be bringing a friend along. There we go, Loopy's got his first booking in. You can view your booking details at any time by clicking on it. From there, you're able to cancel an appointment that you can't make anymore or edit any details that have changed. By clicking the My Time option on the Ask an Artist page, you can quickly see all your appointments and how much time you have left to book more appointments with. When it's time for your appointment, the tutor will call you on Skype and either do a demo for you on their canvas using their webcam, or they'll even show you what to do on your own painting by demonstrating what to do digitally. How cool is that? Your own private tutor right inside your computer screen. My favorite painting of the week this week is this one done by Dale of a green orchid. Look at those lovely reflections that she's got there, and more importantly, look at those beautiful depth that she's created by not being scared to go dark with her shadows. Beautiful, very well done, Dale. Over the last 5 weeks, we've been having a series of free live art classes on Paint Basket TV. If you've been following along, then your painting should look something like that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what your water drops turned out like. We're busy with a landscape at the moment, beautiful sunset. We should finish that off this week. If you have missed them, then don't worry. Here on the left hand side are all the replays. Why don't you go and watch them now and then catch us later in the week for the last live class. And now, before I totally head off into the sunset and go and prepare for this week's class, I'd like to just thank you for voting in our question of the week, where I asked you what's your favorite editing style. We had a clear runaway winner, so we know exactly what to do and how you like your video edited from now on, so we'll do just that. So that's all for me from this week. I'll see you at the live class.
Paint Basket TV.